Good morning, everyone. It's 11 a.m. Thank you for coming to join us for this Aviation Advantage webinar. I'm Gary, and I'm a senior lecturer from the Diploma in Aviation Management. Thank you for joining us. Now, before we start, just a few things to note. This webinar is being recorded so that participants who couldn't join us this morning can view it later on. We also request that you do not use the raise hand function and ask that you ask your questions anytime in the Q&A chat box, as we may not be able to pick up the raised hand response during the webinar. All right, so don't worry about asking questions. Just ask. When you have a question, just post it in the Q&A chat box. All right, thank you. So without further ado, let's start the webinar. Now, there are 10 diplomas and 1 program in the School of Engineering. And today we are going to be covering the diplomas in Aviation Management, Aerospace Electronics, and Aerospace Engineering. If you're interested in any of the other diplomas we are also going to cover the Common Engineering program. If you're interested in any of the other programs, there are webinars for them scheduled later today, tomorrow, and the day after. So some of you may be asking, so how is aviation right now? So I thought this video that was broadcast in the US on December 30th was very, apt for today. So I'm going to play this video for you so that you have a rough idea of how aviation is right now.
Well, Melanie Lieberman joining us now, senior travel editor for The Points Guy. All right, Melanie, do you expect to see a lot more people traveling next year?
I think we're really already anticipating a lot of demand throughout the travel industry, particularly in that leisure segment. People are eager to get back out there. Unfortunately, this new variant has already caused some disruptions, but we know that that demand is still there. People might just be adjusting the types of trips that they're taking despite the setback.
Oh, it's terrifying, Melanie, because I can't imagine the airports being any more crowded than they have been lately. Anyway, let's talk money, okay? Because if there's that much demand, there's pricing power. What kind of, if any, deals are you expecting for traveling next year?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some people, maybe who haven't traveled since the onset of the pandemic, might be surprised that there aren't those really, really low deals we were seeing earlier on. But the deals are out there if you're patient and you're flexible. We're still seeing deals to the Caribbean in particular, and a lot of deals for flights to Europe. But travelers have to act really fast if they want those deals. And they have to remember to read the fine print, because having flexibility in your travel plans is still incredibly important as we move into 2022.
Well, there
Melanie
you go.
Lieberman,
There's a lot
thank you
of
very
pent-up
much.
demand, and I'm going to share with you a little bit more. So if you look at CNBC, just this article published on November 17, it says business travel demand expected to surge in 2022. Full recovery still 2 years away, which is great news for you guys, because if you're joining us now, you will graduate 3 years later, and that means you'll be right smack in the middle of recovery. Travel and Leisure magazine says that travel in 2022 will be even busier than pre-pandemic times. And this is because of the pent-up demand, and a lot of people have saved up money from not traveling. And people really, have that urge that they want to get out for a while. Capacity and demand for flights to and from Singapore hold up through March 2022. And this was on January 4th this year from the Business Times. Travel industry glad to be back at work as VTLs take off and staying optimistic despite Omicron. And you can see that despite Omicron being in the news again, travel is still ongoing. I think nothing sums up this better than this article. This article was published actually in 2020, and it says here that 25% more Singaporeans are willing to travel in 2021 as compared to 2020. As an indicator of pent-up demand for travel, 85% of Singaporeans are prepared to spend more on their next holiday. So imagine this was in 2020, 2021. This year, 2022, lots of people have saved up even more money. Okay, so you get the idea. Now, if you haven't noticed on your social media, I noticed my friends coming back from holidays yesterday and the day before, and Changi Airport is full. Okay, it's just long queues everywhere. So that is a good sign for us. I'm particularly happy coming from the industry. So just to take a light break, when we had the meals on the ground in the A380 last year, what do you think powered the aircraft's lights and air conditioning? Did we plug the aircraft into a power socket in the wall? Did we have a whole bunch of batteries that were running to power the aircon electricity? Or did we use an auxiliary power unit? I'm sure many of you who are here interested in aviation will already know the answer, and it is the APU. So what is the APU actually? It is a small little engine that is in the tail of most of the aircrafts. And the same engine actually powers smaller aircraft. Okay, so what it does is this APU actually does a very important function. It not only powers the electrical systems when the engines are off, but it also provides pressure for air conditioning and also provides the bleed needed to start the main engines. Okay, so it's a little bit different for starting engines on aircraft. You know, we can't do it like on the car. We actually need a smaller, the hot air from another smaller engine to actually start the main engines. Yeah. So next time when you fly, take a look. You will find this little hole at the back of the aircraft, and that's the exhaust of the APU. So let me play this nice video for you from Delta Airlines that sort of sums up all the aviation jobs. Hope you get an idea once you see this video.
Do you get to test drive the planes?
Well, we get to taxi them to the hangar and back, but we leave the flights to the pilots. Delta does offer some of the best flight benefits, though, and we get to fly anywhere in the world for free if they have space.
Nice.
Yeah, wanna check out the flight deck?
Yeah, of course. Wow, so much cool technology. You work on all of this?
Yep, every single part of the plane.
So, besides getting to solve problems every day and work around these cool jets, what are some of the other things Delta people really like about this job?
Well, there's a huge sense of teamwork here, as we all feel we're part of a bigger mission flying millions of Delta passengers safely. It's a great culture, and it pays really well, which is awesome for a job you can really enjoy.
Yeah, sign me up. Well, thanks, Karen, for showing us around today. I had a blast. Are there any last words of advice? I mean, I know I've got some friends here who would really like to know more about being a Delta AMT. What should they do?
Really hit up the math and science classes. Those are really important. Shop or learning classes would be very helpful.
With the exception of the free flights everywhere, most airlines do give you at least a free ticket. Okay, American Airlines are particularly generous in that field. So let's start off with aerospace engineering jobs. Now, this video sort of sums up what you will do if you graduate with a diploma in aerospace engineering.
Oh, the plane is so big.
It's huge.
Wow. Whoa. Why Singapore's the first place?
I didn't know that.
Stories tall at the tail. Almost 18 meters from wingtips to wingtips, they provide flight control and enough lift to carry the fuel surge plus the 4 supercharged engines.
Janice?
Where are we?
Wait, who are you?
Who are you guys? I'm Iswandi from ST Aerospace. I work here.
We were in some kind of storm, and was that the documentary?
I think so.
Wait, how do you guys make sure these engines still work after going through such crazy weather?
Every engine, as well as these engines, have to go through a mandatory schedule checks to make sure they are actually fit to fly. So as licensed aircraft engineers, it's our job to make sure we highlight any defects, rectify them, and certify to fit to fly. Of course, we're actually working with a group of technicians, aircraft technicians, to make sure they actually maintain the aircraft properly.
Wow, that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
So what other things do you do?
Yeah, I was an aircraft technician and a licensed aircraft engineer for over 10 years. And now currently I'm a senior technical instructor for ST Aerospace. My job is actually to groom the next generation of aircraft technicians as well as aircraft engineers.
So, are you the one who maintains the plane?
Yes, I'm the one who maintains the plane. Every time the aircraft come in for scheduled maintenance, I'll be the one maintaining the plane. Other than that, I'll be ensuring the safety of the hangar is safe enough for the plane to come in for maintenance.
Right, it's awesome. So which part of the plane do you work on?
I'm a mechanical technician, so usually I work on the structure or the engine side.
Right. You know, you have an extremely cool job working with all these planes here. Do you like your job?
Of course, I love my job. It has been a dream come true. Yeah, so after coming here, I realized that this job is a hands-on job, and I really like hands-on job. Therefore,
Right.
I choose this industry.
So, what's the difference between planes back then and nowadays?
Nowadays, the technology gets more advanced.
Right.
It gets better. So, because for our job, there's a huge responsibility because life lies in our hands. So, we need to make sure that we do our job well to ensure that the aircraft is safe for flying.
Okay, so you guys just wait here. Hold on, I'm gonna do something. If you want to find out more about careers in aviation, visit careers.heartofaviation.sg.
Aerospace engineering involves working on the outside of the aircraft. It's a very hands-on job. It deals a lot with safety. And, as you can hear from both the videos, people are quite passionate about their jobs, including myself. I really love my job and I love my industry. So let me move on to the next video, which will show you a little bit about aerospace electronics. So this video is from Swiss International Airlines, and you can see that they are dealing with electronics inside the aircraft. Most modern aircraft now have lots of electronics. All the old-fashioned dials that you see on old aircraft have been replaced by all these multifunction display screens. And inside the aircraft, you will find that we have racks and racks of electronic equipment. As you can see, it's really tight, not at all like the movies that you see, where they have huge spaces and racks of servers. Absolutely not true. That's the engine pressure actually. Okay, so that gives you an idea working inside the aircraft on all the electrical components, and that's what you'll be doing if you graduate with a diploma in aerospace electronics. So what if you don't want to work with the aircraft? You don't want to work inside or outside the aircraft. Well, we do have another diploma in TP, and that's where I'm from, where you work with people, and that's the diploma in aviation management. And this video sums up a little bit of some of the jobs you could do when you graduate with this diploma.
Hello, don't close yet, we still need to check in.
Hi, good afternoon, sir, ma'am. May I have your passport, please?
Yes. Hold on. Here you go.
Thank you. So can I have your baggage, please?
Oh,
on the
of course,
belt?
of course.
I'm sorry, sir. Your bag exceeded 3 kg. Is it okay? You can repack it?
What? Did I tell you to buy excess baggage already? You idiot one like you. Settle.
Okay.
Don't like that one.
Much lighter now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm sorry, sir. Your sittings are not together because the flight is full.
Oh, no. We need to sit together.
I need to be next to her in flight so that I can massage her face. Otherwise, the Botox won't settle in.
You just give me a while. I'll make a call.
Don't worry, baby.
It's like that one always travel you very troublesome one. You're messing my hair. Stop.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I've seated both of you together. Okay, so to ensure your name is correct, so to the gate will be F54, and let me escort you to the gate.
Thank you.
Not bad.
I will miss this FIIB board.
So, do you only work at this counter?
No, I do check-in counters and gate duties. So for check-in counters, basically it's for passport and visa checks. And for gate duties, mainly liaising with the cabin crew and my officer to run the flight on time.
Oh, how do you stay so positive all the time?
Smile, smiling makes me feel good.
Have you met other famous people? I mean, because other than us lah.
The King of Bhutan.
Oh, the King of Bhutan. I mean, we are good friends with him, right? We just had tea with him last week. Yes, we
Really?
did.
And I think you should run for your flight.
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll go already.
Wait. Go on without me.
Yes, I will. I'll find a Thai boy that looks just like you. Oh, goodness. Wait. You have my bag.
Wow, I can't believe we made it in time.
I wonder how we are still able to take off on time despite our delays.
Would you like to find out?
Yes, please. Beam us up, Scotty. Hey, Scotty.
I'm not Scotty. Scotty is on leave today. I'm Pauline.
Oh, so Pauline, what do you do?
I'm an air traffic control officer, providing air traffic services to aircraft in the Singapore Flight Information region.
So, the plane that we are on, are you in charge of taking off?
No, that was handled by my colleague who is stationed at the Changi Control Tower. They handle aircraft departing and arriving into Singapore Changi Airport. Over here, at the Singapore Air Traffic Control Center, we control aircraft in the terminal airspace within 40 nautical miles radius from Changi Airport.
Oh, you manage so many airplanes. Isn't that difficult?
That's just part of the job. We work in teams and we have different areas of responsibilities.
Sounds very stressful. How do you handle it?
Air traffic control is very dynamic. No situation is exactly the same. It's very challenging and I get great sense of satisfaction when I bring people back home to their loved ones safely.
Thanks, Pauline.
Bye-bye. If you want to find out more about careers in aviation, visit heartofaviation.sg.
All 4 videos right now, and you realize there's a common theme. One is that we are all very concerned about safety, and safety is paramount for us to bring people home safely to their families. Second one is we are all very enthusiastic about our job. We actually love our jobs. Thirdly, jobs are mainly quite hands-on. So if you're a hands-on person, this industry has a lot of hands-on jobs for you, whether dealing with people or dealing with aircraft, there's a job for you out there. So besides studying, what else can we do in TP? Well, we have industry visits to companies such as Airbus, Rolls-Royce, even Changi Airport. We also do overseas study trips, like this one going to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Prescott, United States. Sometimes we organize sports events, where we invite alumni back to come and challenge you guys a little bit. So there's always something other than studying as well to do, so that we balance out your life and it's not all study only. Yeah. We also have very good internships at Temasek Poly. We have internships at, these are just some of them: Collins Aerospace, Pratt Whitney, Thales, ST Engineering, Panasonic, Changi Airport Group, Singapore Airlines, Cathay, Air France, KLM, Vansi. In case you're wondering what Vansi Airports does, they run the airports in Cambodia and Osaka Kansai Airport. So there's lots of internships available in TP for you as well. Almost 100% of our students go out for an internship. And after graduation, what can you do? This is first and foremost on most students' questions, on their mind. And you can either go to a local university, NTU, NUS, SMU, SIT, SUTD, SIM, SUSS. And at SIT, there is a dedicated aviation program, there's a dedicated program at SIT. And if you want to go to an overseas university, you can go to the University of New South Wales, University of South Australia, or even Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. These are just some of the universities overseas that are famous for aviation. So, question is, why choose aerospace electronics or aerospace engineering? Okay, well, we are the first polytechnic approved by the CAAS to be a SAR 147 approved maintenance training organization. We also give you quality practical skills training in aircraft maintenance practices together with our partner Lufthansa Technical Training. Okay, if you're studying aerospace electronics, that will be in avionics. If you're studying aerospace engineering, that will be in engines. And you are also given an opportunity for one semester attachment to the Singapore Youth Flying Club to get your private pilot's license, if that is what you want to do. Now, why should you choose aviation management? Because we are still the first aviation management diploma program in Asia. We are the only diploma in Singapore which incorporates a 12-month flying program that leads to a private pilot's license. This includes time where we schedule you during your internship to go and fly with SYFC. We also have a lot of authentic and structured local overseas internship opportunities with renowned companies worldwide. Yeah. So with that, if you have any questions, please ask us in the Q&A box that you can find. And now I'm going to hand over to Mary from the Common Engineering program for her to tell you a little bit more. Thanks, everyone.
Hello, everyone. You have just seen a couple of engineering courses that Temasek Poly can offer. Have you found the course you're looking for?
Sorry about that. Let me just do the video again.
Hello, everyone. You have just seen a couple of engineering courses that Temasek Poly can offer.
What's happening today? Let's try that one more time. My apologies.
Hello, everyone. You have just seen a couple of engineering courses that Temasek Poly can offer. Have you found the course you're looking for? Interested in pursuing engineering but unsure of which course to choose? Let me introduce you to Common Engineering Program, CEP in short. My name is Mary Joseph and I'm the course chair for Common Engineering Program. Before we go into the details, let's watch this video.
So I wanted to pursue an engineering diploma from Temasek Polytechnic. I did not know what I wanted to choose from. I decided to join the Common Engineering program, which allows me to get a feel of other diploma courses and to make an informed choice. And I'm glad that I didn't regret what I chose back then. I'm Elvin, a Year 2 student from Biomedical Engineering. We learn basic engineering concept and skills like circuit analysis, soldering, and even programming as well. I also have an opportunity to attend a Common Engineering program streaming talk. Different course chairs will present their diplomas, their career prospects as well, what to expect after we join them. Even though you'll be streaming in different semesters, I will be still graduating same as my peers that join the course directly because we undertake the same modules in our year 1 all the way to year 3.
You just heard from Elvin. He made an informed choice after joining Common Engineering program. This program allows you to get a better understanding of the 7 diplomas before making an informed decision about which diploma best suits your interests and passion. CEP is your gateway to one of 7 engineering diplomas. It gives you more time to explore your options and discover your interests in the first year. Students in this program will participate in the course streaming exercise in semester 1 or semester 2. And if they are successful in their selection, they'll join the diploma in semester 2 or year 2 depending on the diploma course. Do note that the course streaming is based on students' choice and merit, meaning that we'll only look at your Polytechnic semester 1 results and no longer your O-level aggregate score. You can join all the 7 diploma courses directly as well. So if you are very sure about your course, apply directly to the diploma course and graduate in 3 years. If you join through CEP, you will do the same set of common year 1 subjects as those who joined the diploma directly. Hence, you will join the diploma seamlessly and graduate along with your peers at the same time in 3 years. I want to leave you with 5 key takeaways about Common Engineering program. Takeaway number 1. It's meant for anyone who is not sure which engineering course to pursue and need more time to consider. Takeaway number 2. It's a major decision selecting your diploma that's going to be your future career. Do join us first and then decide in year 1, semester 1 or semester 2. The most valuable part of Common Engineering program is that we don't leave you alone to make a decision. We'll organize course talks, inviting course teams from various diplomas to share about their course. We'll also organize diploma workshops to let you have hands-on feel about the courses. Not only that, we'll equip you with decision-making tool which is specially designed by our career guidance team. All this will help you make an informed decision of the course that best suits you. Takeaway number 4. Another important point I would like to make is this program gives you another chance to try for your dream course. For example, some students may have missed the cutoff points for their dream course. They join the Common Engineering program, put in extra efforts, get good results in semester 1, and then pick up the dream course during the streaming exercise, and finally get what they want. Takeaway number 5. All CEP students will graduate at the same time as anyone who joined the diploma program directly in semester 1, which means standard 3-year course for all and no extra year needed. So far, you have not heard me talk about any diploma course in specific, but instead, I've shared with you how Common Engineering program works to your benefit by giving you more time to think about the course you want to pursue. Please check our website to find out for more details about the CEP program. With that, all the best to your next stage of learning journey. I shall now open up for Q&A.
Okay, everyone. So as we have heard from Mary, I am now going to introduce you to the course chairs who are all here today. And we are going to start the Q&A session. So over here, we have Mary Joseph, the course chair for the Common Engineering program, whose video you have just seen.
Yeah, hello everyone.
We also have Abbas Ismail from the course chair from the Diploma in Aviation Management, my boss.
Good morning, everyone.
And then we have Poti from the Diploma in Aerospace Engineering.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome.
And Fook Heng is still a bit shy. So, yes, he's here. So, Fook Heng is from the Diploma in Aerospace Electronics.
Hello.
So, we're going to answer the questions. Let me open up the Q&A box to see if there are any questions that have been asked so that we can... Okay, so we have some questions here. One question from Mrs. Mark. My son wants to be a pilot. What can TP offer? Abbas, since you're our resident flying expert, can I trouble you to answer that question, please?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the question and welcome to our webinar. Okay, I think there's a lot of questions regarding flying and maybe what to do. I think it's good to know that in Temasek Poly, Diploma in Aviation Management, Aerospace Electronics, and Aerospace Engineering offer flying option to the student. But for Aviation Management, we have a 6-month dedicated program, meaning to say that when students join us and selected the option to join us for flying, they will train during their internship, and that is part of the curriculum. That means they don't need to go during extra time for them to do the flying. And we are actually doing the flying together with in cooperation with Singapore Youth Flying Club for the flying practical. And our staff, the instructor in TP, will bring students through with their ground training school. So you can see that we have a dedicated staff and good partners to bring students for the flying program. And if they completed the program successfully, then they will get the private pilot license. Okay, that's basically about the program of flying program. And with the pilot license, that's in a way the start for anyone to go further for their commercial flying or even military flying. Okay, I think over to you, Gary.
Okay, I hope that answers some of your questions. I think if my daughter wanted to be a commercial pilot, which course to take? I think it really depends what kind of commercial, what she wants to learn before becoming a commercial pilot. All three of our diplomas actually offer her flying time. If she's more interested in learning how the aircraft works or how the aircraft is maintained, maybe she could consider taking aerospace engineering, aerospace electronics. If she wants to have more time flying, maybe she could consider the diploma in aviation management. But all three diplomas will have some time available for her to fly. Yeah. Okay. Since we don't have any more questions on the backlog, why don't I invite Mary to share a little bit about the streaming process for Common Engineering, because this question has been asked quite often in the past. Mary, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Thanks, Gary, and good morning, everyone. Now, this is one common query that I have from parents and prospective students, okay? And most of the times it's like they want to do engineering, but they don't know which diploma to choose from. And Common Engineering program is a perfect choice, right? As I mentioned in my video earlier, right? You get to experience the TP campus, you get to experience the various engineering disciplines. And during the first semester, you will be introduced to talks and workshops conducted by the 7 diplomas. We'll also arrange career guidance sessions to help you, so which helps you make an informed decision in your course selection. In a nutshell, this program allows you to defer choosing your diploma course at the point of entry, right? Thereby offering you a greater flexibility. Okay, and for some students, it's also another opportunity to apply for highly popular diploma programs like the aviation, aerospace electronics, and aerospace engineering, because when you are in the course streaming in your semester 1 or semester 2, it depends. The selection into the course depends on your first semester results instead of your O-level aggregate. So if you do well in your first semester, you can get that diploma that you have been eyeing, regardless of your O-level performance. Okay, yeah, over to you, Gary.
Thanks, Mary. Thanks for sharing. I think that's a very important point. Traditionally, aerospace engineering, aerospace electronics have been very popular diplomas. Yeah. So, you know, if your O-level results was not great, we all understand sometimes we screw up at some time in our life, right? So you can apply for Common Engineering, work really, really hard and get really good results, and then go back into the diploma in aerospace engineering or aerospace electronics. So it is a second chance for you to get into that dream diploma of yours if that is what you wanted. And so to follow on with these 2 diplomas, I think I'm going to invite Poti to share a little bit about her diploma, then followed by Fook Heng. Because I think I went through it very quickly in the presentation earlier. Maybe I let the 2 experts give you a little bit more about their diplomas.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Gary, before I share a little bit about aerospace engineering, well, Mary has shared about how Common Engineering can offer students who are unsure what choices they want. We also have in the past, questions from the prospective students sharing with us that they do not have, they don't take AMATs, they don't take physics. So what are the avenues that we have in place? Mary, you want to share, for those students who don't have AMATs, no physics, how can the Common Engineering team help them?
Okay, so thanks Poti again. And this is again one fear that students have, about engineering subjects. How are we able to cope up with these subjects? How do we cope up? Yes, so our first and foremost advice to the students is not to worry, right? We have very able and caring lecturers. So anytime you have any questions, anything, you can always approach our tutors. Okay. Now, on top of it, we have what we call as the Learning Support Program, and this program aims to give our Year 1 students every opportunity to progress in the core engineering subjects. And these sessions are conducted by our lecturers on Wednesday afternoons or Friday afternoons when they don't have lessons. Okay, and during the session, the lecturers who are from the coordinating team will actually guide the students in solving questions and clarifying their concepts. So the learning support program has helped our freshmen immensely in adjusting to the curriculum. It's almost like free tuition given to the students. Okay, and it really has been very helpful, and we have year in and year out, we have senior students who always appreciate this learning support program given to the students. Yeah, over to you, Patty.
Thank you, Mary. So you have heard, Mary, in your first year, the foundation subjects, we do have a good support system for students, who need the extra help. Within the aerospace engineering diploma, after the 1 year of fundamental subjects, in year 2, you will start to learn subjects like the gas turbine engine, basic aerodynamics, mechanical fundamentals, which is fluid mechanics, thermodynamics. So you get to learn about the theory. And when it comes to year 3, where we emphasize more on practical training, we do offer students an option either to take up the rigorous hands-on training under the Lufthansa Technical Training Center, or you can choose to work on the aircraft engines. So we do have practical trainings on a few units of the commercial aircraft engines for students to work on. So having built up their hand skills, then the students will go out for internships. The internship companies, I think Gary has shared in his presentation. So we work with the renowned MNCs. We also work with the research institutes. So there is a wide variety of choices for students to choose for their internship. So in short, the aerospace engineering focus on engines, aircraft engines, the airframe, the mechanical aspect. So now let's move on to aerospace electronics. Phu Heng, over to you, Phu Heng.
Okay, for aerospace electronics, similarly to aerospace engineering, the first and second year are fundamentals building. Okay, so when they go on to third year, they will be attached out to industry for internship. And 2022 will be a very exciting year for aerospace electronics because we will be launching new elective cluster. So one exciting new elective will be on unmanned aircraft operations, where we will teach students about the UA unmanned aircraft legislation in Singapore, what are the regulations, the rules, and also provide student opportunity to go and take the theory test to become a UA pilot. And also, of course, introduce them a little bit about drone operations and so forth. So earlier you saw in the video clip, aerospace electronics students have to so-called climb into a very tiny little space crammed with all the equipment and all this. So if you are fearful of going into confined spaces, okay, the other really confined space in the aircraft is actually in the fuel tank, where licensed aircraft engineers have to actually crawl inside the fuel tank to check for the condition of the tank inside. That is really terrifying. But then if you are scared of those, then you work outside the aircraft on drone. So drone, you are actually outside, not inside. Okay, so that's something interesting about what's going to happen for aerospace electronics. Over back to you, Gary. I see another.
I see a very good question. Why would I choose TP's aerospace courses versus other polys offerings? There are so many answers to this question. I will attempt to answer part of it, and then I'll let the 3 course chairs also give their take, because I think this question is so important. Firstly, personally, from my sincere belief, TP has the very, very kind and caring lecturers. I would dare say that, if you come here, we actually care. We don't treat you as another number. Any student that comes here to us is an individual, is a student. And to attest to this, I am still in touch with my students from 2007. So that goes to show you how much we care. But on the more technical aspects, as you saw in my presentation earlier, we are the pioneers in aviation management for the diploma. We are also the pioneers in terms of getting the certification from CAAS. And I think that counts for something. It says that we have the quality and the assurance from the authorities and the regulators that we are doing the right thing. I will now hand over to Abbas, Poti, and Fook Heng in that order for them to convince you as well. Abbas, please.
Okay, thank you. Let me start first. Thank you, Gary. I think, as Gary mentioned, we are the first aviation program in Asia. When we started back in 2007, there's no courses related to flying. At that point in time, aviation is quite strong and up and coming in this region. So there's we need recognize that there's a need to train professional in this area. And that's when we launched the program. And after that, you can see there's so many courses similar to us. But as Gary mentioned, apart from the staff, our curriculums actually focus more on train the student to various jobs that related to aviation. For example, ground handlers. We train just not pilot. We talk about most popular topic, pilot and commercial. We actually do train a lot of other job roles. For example, air traffic controller, airline staff, even the back end room like apron management, safety. So we have various areas that we train students, and all guided by our professional staff from industry, and they have more than 50 years, 100 years of experience. If you combine together, you can see that's how strong our courses and the lecturers that we have in TP. Over to you, Poti. Thank you.
Okay, for aerospace engineering, what's our unique selling point? We have two real aircraft, the Hawker 700, and we also have the S211. We have a few Pratt & Whitney engines. We have some of the donated air fighter jet engines also in the lab for students to work on. As what Gary has said, we are actually the first poly to be certified by CAAS. Now, what does that translate to? Students who enrolled into the aerospace engineering program or aerospace electronics program, they actually enjoy clocking training hours towards getting the aircraft maintenance license. In other words, for the basic theory hours of 2,400 hours that is required for AML training, AML stands for aircraft maintenance license, while they do their 3 years diploma with AEG or with AEL, they are actually clocking hours towards that. So they can save up to 9 months to a year to get their license compared to other polys who do not have the accreditation from CAAS. Okay, I think that is probably one of the unique selling point. Apart from that, I think overall our curriculum is quite robust in that with the hand skills that the student acquire, also with the theory background on programming, on data analytics, we actually prepare our students very well in aerospace industry as well as the adjacent sectors. Okay, over to you, Fook Heng.
Okay, on top of what Poti mentioned about certification with CAS, okay, we were the first poly to get that certification back in 2012, and today, aerospace electronics is still the only diploma that is certified by CAS. The other polytechnic that still have aerospace electronic offering, they are not so-called licensed by CAS. So that's the main difference between us and the other polytechnic. And then on top of training our students to be licensed aircraft engineers in the aerospace electronic trade, we also give them a broad-based training so that they can go into a wide variety of electronics jobs. In fact, currently now, with the aviation downturn, the microelectronics industry is actually facing a very rapid growth. And I think most of you will have heard there's a worldwide shortage of chips, IC, integrated circuits. So there's a robust growth in microelectronics. And so a lot of our graduates are actually doing internship in that sector, as well as also good jobs opportunity in microelectronics. Over back to you, Gary.
Thanks, Fo King. I think one of the concerns that we had last year, and I think probably this year as well, would be what happens, if we come in to study aviation and we cannot get a job in aviation. And I think that's something that our graduates have proven that it's not much of a worry, because most of our graduates, when they graduated, even during the aviation downturn, managed to get jobs in various other industries because of the education that they got in TP. For example, for my diploma, a lot of them got jobs in banks, in other industry where what we teach them is still relevant. So don't worry too much about coming into TP and where you think that, oh shoot, if I join aviation diploma, right, I can only go back to aviation. That has proven to be untrue. And Foo King has already given you an example of how your electronics training can allow you to go into micro electronics. And I'm sure Poti will also tell you that, if you do aerospace engineering doesn't mean that you can only look after engines on the aircraft. There's a lot of mechatronics, a lot of engines that that require similar training and education.
Hey Gary, don't worry. You share in your video the forecast, the aviation recovery forecast. I did some research as well, as latest as end of last year, which is 28 December. The industry experts, they are forecasting that the passenger travel will probably return to pre-COVID, slightly less, 20% less than the pre-COVID by end of 2022. And the MRO, which stands for maintenance, repair and overhaul, forecast is also very pretty. They are projecting growth over the next few years. So for students who are joining us, when they graduate in 3 years' time, no worries. If their interest and passion is in aerospace engineering, they can continue to work on engines and aircraft. They don't have to, go to the adjacent sector if they don't want to. But we prepare them well.
Of course. And also, people like me, I'm dying to travel. I haven't traveled for 2 years. I've saved out a lot of money to travel. And all my ex-students has the same. Everybody is telling me, when can we travel? So you can imagine how much demand we are going to see. And they are already predicting, if you go in Google online, we are already predicting a shortage of pilots because of demand starting to increase. We're going to see a shortage of ground staff even. Right now, SATS has come to us to actually ask us if we can start churning people to recommend to them to join them because they are foreseeing this shortage coming. And another thing that I think I wanted to highlight to everybody is that your lecturers here in TP are not static. We don't sit here in TP and do nothing except teach. A lot of us are still very much involved with the industry. I know many of my colleagues and myself, we go back out to industry to help them to do training. We help them to go and keep ourselves updated so that we make sure that we are teaching you what is the latest and greatest. Okay, and we're not teaching you something that's outdated, that when you graduate, you go to the industry and they say, who's teaching you these things, man? Okay, so I think that's something really important that I like to highlight,
Gary, we do have 3 questions in the chat, in the Q&A segment.
Yes.
And in view of time, I think we may just want to take these 3 questions. Shall we get Abbas to talk about how to fly, share a little bit about SYFC requirement, and then for him, there's a question, there's an attendee who likes to know a little bit more about aerospace electronics, and then I can probably take on the university degree course. So Abbas, why don't you start first, how to fly?
Okay, I think for a start, I think there's a question on the difference between commercial. There's 2 types of pilot. One is commercial and the other one is military. Commercial is a pilot that been paid by the airline or the private plane. That's called commercial. Whereas the military, I think, quite standard. That's been you work for the military the Air Force. Okay, so that's basically there's 2 types of pilot. Okay, the question about how to get to fly. I think there's a series of tests and interviews that the student need to go, or the prospective pilot need to go through. So they need to pass the interview, medical, need to make sure that they're qualified and they are free from any other issues. And then of course there's aptitude tests that they did go through. So these are the skill that they be detected before they get into the flying program. So once you are selected, then you go through the youth flying club for you to be trained to get your license. That's basically how you can get the flying the PPL for the during the course of your study in TP. Over to you, I think.
Okay, let Foking share a little bit about the aerospace electronics, and I can do the university degree courses options.
Okay, for aerospace electronics, okay, if you want to know a bit more, what we cover will be teaching students avionics systems on board the aircraft. Things like the radio system, the radio communication, how do the pilot talk to the ground controllers, navigation system, how the pilot use it to fly the aeroplane around, and then in-flight entertainment system that passengers use. That's also part of aerospace electronics. And then what we do is we introduce students to this using a so-called scenario-based training. That means we give students a case study of events that have happened. For example, aircraft gone missing on the radar screen. So we ask the student to explore what could possibly happen, and then based on some of the facts on it. So those are the things that we traditionally teach in aerospace electronics, covering the system. I mentioned earlier that 2022 is very exciting because we introduced new elective cluster. So I mentioned about unmanned aircraft operation. Other than that elective subject, we also offer new elective subjects such as Internet of Things, IoT, which is gaining important, that manufacturers of avionics equipment are also putting in this kind of tracking to so-called put-in devices, so that the manufacturer are able to track all their equipment on the factory floor, as well as when they are shipped out to the customer on board the plane. So which means that when the plane takes off with the equipment on board, they are able to report the status back to ground. So Internet of Things, new elective. Another new elective is on intelligent automation. So there are plans to move the production of avionics to be more efficient and intelligent. So we are offering a few elective subjects for students to be trained in all these emerging area. So those are the new things. That's all.
That will mean that the aerospace electronic students can actually pursue further studies in electronics, in electrical engineering?
Yes, yes. Traditionally, our students will go further study in EEE, in NTU, electrical and electronics engineering. They can also go into computer engineering also.
So do they get any advanced standing if they were to enroll in EEE, whether in NTU or in NUS?
Yes, they do get advanced standing, subject exemption.
Okay.
In these courses, yeah.
So similarly to aerospace electronics, aerospace engineering students, when they graduate, the popular choices are mechanical engineering or aerospace engineering in NTU, mechanical engineering in NUS, and aerospace systems in SIT. So if they were to enroll into a related field, they can get exemption up to a year. We also have students who choose to go into computing, go into other areas. It could be arts and science. When they go into non-related field, they do not enjoy the advanced standing. So for a general degree program, they will have to follow through the 3 years. For honors program, it will be 4 years. But if they choose to go into mechanical or aerospace, then usually they will get advanced. They go direct year 2. So I hope I have answered the question on university degree program. We have 6 minutes left. There are questions about robots and pilots. Will that be taken up by Abbas?
I think the pilot already answered the question earlier. Our curriculum provide the student with opportunity to get PPL, and from that they will pursue their dream to get pilot, either go into flying together with Singapore Airlines or the military with Air Force. So that's basically that we already mentioned. I think next, is there any other question for?
To create robots, I think we have another diploma that you can go to which specifically address that, right?
Okay, there's a question, are pilots the available jobs for aerospace engineering? No, aerospace engineering graduates, they can take up, in fact, quite a wide array of jobs. Licensed aircraft engineer, repair engineers on the engines, workshop engineers, quality assurance engineer, planning, so on and so forth. So pilot, in fact, is a very prestigious job. Am I right, Gary?
It is. It actually is a job that chooses you. If you want to be a pilot, doesn't mean you can be a pilot. Yeah, it's a job where you need to have the specific skills and a certain kind of aptitude for it, lah. So I would say if you really want to be a pilot, come down, talk to us at our come down here and talk to us. We'll be more than happy to sit down with you and talk to you. And we have pilots here as our staff, my colleagues, who will tell you what is the requirement.
I think one of our attendees is very interested and passionate about flying and started to initiate a discussion on whether airplanes in the future can be fully automated by AI. I think that is something for us, to make happen, for the future engineers to make it happen.
It might come, but will you be comfortable flying in the plane which has no body, lah? I know I'm not so comfortable.
Yeah, I think there's a testing been done for such plane fly without a pilot.
Yes.
But I think the issue here is how confident will be the public. First. Second, it will be how the safety measures be implemented if there's any issues while flying the airplane with autopilot. So there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed before we can really see pilotless plane flying with passenger. Maybe in future, we're not so sure.
Probably we'll start with cargo aircraft first, because the cargo aircraft not so many lives on board, lah.
They don't complain.
Cargos are equally expensive. You never know what's inside.
Very true. Very true.
Most importantly, they don't complain, lah. Like they don't need meals on board.
Okay, thank you everyone. It's 11:57 and we have to let you guys go as much as we want to answer more of your questions because there's another session starting soon. Please share your feedback with us if you have some time. It will help us improve our future sessions. The link is being shown to you here. You can scan the QR code if you wish to give us some feedback. Also, if you would like to have more information, please go to our engineering site. That is at www.tp.edu.sg/openhouse/eng.html. Alternatively, you can always scan the QR code. I know we are QR code overload nowadays, but well, in this case, it does make it easier.
Gary, I think there could be a blackened box that is blocking the QR code. And
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that is the QR code if you want to find out more. And as always, we are available here in TP. If you have some time during the weekend or over the next few days, do come down and see us. We are more than happy to meet up with you and have a long chat with you. Yeah. So with that, I would like to thank you for your time. Thank you everybody for joining us today in our webinar on aviation. On behalf of Fook Heng, Poti, Mary, Abbas, myself, and the staff of engineering school here in TP, I'd like to thank you for spending your precious 1 hour with us and allowing us to share with you our diploma programs. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.